Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever edition of the Last Wrestling Podcast. I call it that because if I have a wrestling podcast, it means absolutely everyone else in the world also has one, so this will be the last. Yes, everyone, and that includes you. You have a wrestling podcast, even if you don't realize it yet. Now is the part where I shoot myself in the proverbial foot by making a public commitment for content! Yay! Those of you who follow my channel already know that I produce an hour, at least, usually more, of wrestling content a week in the form of the Animated Wrestling League. So there's Vince McMahon's theme song that I'm going to be able to get 2 shows out a week, even if this one's pretty much entirely audio. But I am going to aim for 2 shows per month. Now, what am I going to cover on these broadcasts? Anything and everything related to the great art form known as professional wrestling. Some episodes, like this one, will review events from all companies, great and small. Other times I might opine about current events, do some fantasy booking, or even answer any questions that you might put in the comment section below. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, know what I'm saying. The one thing I am not going to do at any point in any review that I do for this show is criticize the athleticism or the technique of a wrestler. I am not an athlete, nor am I a trained professional wrestler. So any comment I might have regarding the quality of in-ring technique would merely be personal opinion and or completely out of my backside. So don't expect any, oh, this guy can't work, or that was a really stiff bump, this guy's being unnecessarily light, look at all, blah, 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 blah. I don't do that. I don't know about that. It's none of my business. What I do know about, and what I can and will comment on, is booking, acting, logic, and anything else related to stagecraft or storytelling. Oh, and in case you don't know, who am I? On this site, I am known as Ryu Sensei. I am the announcer, webmaster, and several other things for the Animated Wrestling League. In real life, I am a UK-born American citizen, currently living in Japan. I am a teacher, I am a wrestling fan, I am a former military brat, and I am absolutely a general all-purpose nerd. And no, I do not enjoy long walks on the beach, thanks for asking. Today we're going to be taking a look at Royal Rumble 2018 for World Wrestling Entertainment. And now for a little section I like to call Background and Other Things You Don't Care About. The main feature, and this is for those who don't know, which is going to be probably nobody listening to this. If anyone listens to this, I make no illusions. The term Battle Royal, or Battle Royale as I personally prefer, refers to any form of combat where a large number of unaffiliated combatants fight until there's only one left standing. As far as I've been able to research, the term dates back to the Middle Ages, the mid-1600s, and generally didn't refer to people, it referred to cockfighting. The first references I've been able to find to humans participating in a battle royale dates back to the 1800s and was actually a primitive form of boxing. I say primitive because this was before boxing gloves were invented, or anyone involved thought to outlaw the cudgel. It also has some rather unfortunate implications both in Britain and later in the United States when it came to who was doing the fighting and for the entertainment of whom. Let's just say, I'm going to try to keep politics and social interests out of this, but let's all agree that slavery was bad, okay? Good. Now, fast forward to the modern day. In professional wrestling, a traditional battle royal, and again, this is for those of you who are not wrestling experts, I'm going to try to make this... I'm a long-term fan, been watching since about 98, 99, actually about 99. 1999 is when I started watching wrestling regularly. But I know a lot of people don't watch wrestling that much, and I want to make this accessible to people. In professional wrestling, a traditional battle royale starts with a large number of wrestlers in the ring, usually a multiple of 10. If a wrestler is thrown over the top rope and they land on the floor outside the ring, they are eliminated from the match, and the last man standing is the winner. In the past, this has been a big showcase match, usually done on Thanksgiving or even the Christmas season, in order to, A, give the fans an unusual spectacle seeing all these people in the ring at the same time, or to give the workers, to give the wrestlers, a bit of a time off. Because it's dangerous having that many bodies in the ring, but it's not quite as physically demanding as a full-fledged match. And it also protected people because nobody was getting pinned, nobody was submitting, nobody was actually really losing. All that happened is you being thrown out of the ring. So it was sort of a complicated but fairly easy night for a lot of people, as I understand it. Now, WWE, which we're going to be talking about today, the Royal Rumble match, is what is sometimes referred to as a staggered start battle royal, meaning that two wrestlers begin in the ring and another enters every so often until all 30, or however many, have entered. The rules are otherwise the same, over the top rope, with the specific rule that both feet must touch the floor for you to be eliminated. That does play in on occasion. Ostensibly, the order of entry is decided by random draw, but good or bad numbers can be assigned as part of a storyline. A match where, say, the winner enters at number 30, but the loser has to enter at number 1, something like that. Now, the staggered start introduces an additional element of luck into the story that can protect the top guys and also give a reasonable boost to low-card wrestlers. What makes a Battle Royal interesting, or Royal Rumble specifically, is the idea that technically anybody can win this. Somebody who would never be a main eventer can get lucky. They can draw a high number, and maybe all the big stars draw high numbers. You never know. Jobs McGee would not stand a chance against big-name Von Main Event, but if he draws a late number, and the other guys are tired, and he comes in fresh, you never know. Alright, going into this year's Royal Rumble event. Traditionally, the winner of the Royal Rumble receives a championship match at WrestleMania. They will say occasionally that this person is going to main event or headline WrestleMania. Don't count on that. Usually, it just means you get a title match at Mania. Anytime you talk about main event, that's pretty much been blown out the window the last few years. Now, this year, in order to catch up with the 1990s, WWE has been pushing their women's division like never before. So this year, we are going to have the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match. This sounds like a great milestone until you realize that they have neutered and mutilated the entire division just to get here. But more on that later. On the undercard, we also have 2 top championships on the line in 2 really stupid stipulation matches. We've got 2 more title matches that were scrapped from the pay-per-view because they were boring on paper or the defending champion turned out to be an accused rapist. I seriously wish I was making that up. There may be other matches scheduled for the card, but I honestly don't remember what they are as I write the script for this, so screw it, let's start the show. Here's the format. I've just recorded this intro before I have started watching the program. I'm going to watch a match, pause the video, come back and talk here for a bit, and then lather, rinse, repeat until the end of the show. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Royal Rumble. Match number 1, and we have, starting off with the WWE Championship on the line in the opening match, because, you know what, actually I don't have a problem with it for the Royal Rumble, because the main event of the Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble. So it makes sense that the title matches would just go on earlier in the show. And I think this is looking like a 4-match card, because the opening video package didn't have anything that I didn't talk about already. And that's going to be a problem because, oh sweet merciful Ric Flair, this is a 4-hour show. Now that WWE has their own network and they don't have to worry about things like pay-per-view windows, they've been getting into the habit of just having their main shows go on for effing ever. And I'm sorry, but 4 hours is too long for a wrestling show. 3 hours is pushing it. And even then, that's got to be the big shows. This match, AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in a handicap match because stupid. AJ Styles... the story is that AJ Styles essentially volunteered for this handicap match because Sami Owens... Actually, that's a good name for them, Sami Owens. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have been double-teaming and attacking and interfering in each other's matches with AJ for a while now, and AJ makes the sarcastic comment to the general manager of SmackDown, Daniel Bryan, saying, why don't you just go ahead and make it a handicap match? They're going to interfere anyway. And Bryan says, okay, fine, it's a handicap match. Now, this makes absolutely no sense, since it was obviously a sarcastic joke when AJ said it. And Daniel Bryan is supposed to be one of the good guys. Now, it's possible they're trying to turn him heel. Unfortunately, that is a terrible idea. WWE fans love Daniel Bryan. They do not want to boo him. And if you try to turn him heel, it's just going to come across as the company turning him heel, which is going to put the heat not on the character, but on the company and on the writing staff and on the management. It's a terrible, terrible plan. So during the entrances, it looks like Sami Zayn is trying to overdo his typical babyface energetic dancing entrance. He's trying to deliberately overdo it to look obnoxious. Unfortunately, the crowd seems to be cheering him for it, which is not a good thing. AJ Styles, in his entrance, I noticed, when he comes out and it's his dark silhouette against a blue LED board, for a second or two, and I don't know if this is a camera trick or a problem with my video feed, but he looks kind of pixelated, like a video game character, up against the LED board as he comes out, and that's a really cool effect, because AJ Styles is one of those hyper-athletic, video game come-to-life kind of guys. I like this. As the match begins, or before the match begins, we don't know what the rules are. There's been talk about if Owens and Zayn win this, that they will be co-WWE champions, which is a stupid idea, but not unprecedented. Chris Jericho and Chyna were famously co-intercontinental champions for a while. Now, as the match begins, we don't know what the rules are. Will Owens and Zayn have to tag in and out? Will AJ have to beat both of them? Is this essentially an elimination match, or is it one fall to a finish? The announcer, when he's announcing the match, the ring announcer, doesn't say the following match is scheduled for one fall, so they couldn't even get that right. Come on, guys, narrative, it's not that difficult. The actual story of the match, we started off with Owens and Zayn stalling, deliberately tagging each other in and out, taking a long time to get in and out of the ring, to slow the match down, because at 4 hours the show isn't long enough. Anyway, most of the match, I'd say 90% of the match, consisted of Zayn and Owens not cheating per se, but taking advantage of the unfair rules. Although they did do a couple of nice little hope spots, as they're called, for the babyface AJ Styles, where he's using techniques that won individual matches against both of his opponents separately on television the last couple of weeks, but they don't work now because the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Good storytelling. Speaking of good storytelling, I love Kevin Owens. I love the way that he talks in the ring. You can hear everything he's saying as he's yelling at the crowd, he's yelling at his partner, he's yelling at his opponent. It adds a lot of depth to what is otherwise a one-dimensional story and a one-dimensional character. A bunch of one-dimensional characters. By the end of the match... there's also one other good thing with Kevin Owens. Great facial features when he was in AJ's calf crusher submission. The facial features, the body language, it was fantastic. It was really selling the pain of the maneuver and how difficult it was to gut it out, to not tap out and wait for his partner to save him. The bad news is that kind of endurance is an admirable trait, and the bad guys shouldn't have admirable traits, or at least not that many of them. After a match that was, frankly, way too long, the finish appeared to be AJ countering a pop-up powerbomb from Kevin Owens, rolling him up with essentially a victory roll, and pinning him to retain the title. However, a few moments before that, Sami Zayn was the legal combatant, reached out to make a tag, and upon the replay, the hands did not actually touch. It looked a little contrived, so that I think this was an intended spot. I'm pretty sure it was. But it's possible because there was no tag. Owens, who came into the ring anyway, was not the legal fighter. He was not the legal man when AJ rolled him up and pinned him. Therefore, the victory should be invalid. However, the referee's decision is apparently final. At least it is this week. And just when you think this is going to be a lingering plot thread to go into the next month or so of storytelling, they basically blow it off in a backstage sketch where Owens and Zayn are pissed off because they shouldn't have lost, and they've got a legitimate point here, so they bring it up with SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon. If you don't know who he is, son of the owner of the WWE, he's supposed to be the sort of the rebellious white sheep of the family good guy. He comes across as a walking dad joke, and the fans are starting to get sick of him. Correction, the fans are sick of him. So this good guy, who's supposed to be the impartial authority figure, Owens and Zayn basically tell him, hey, did you see that? Did you see what just happened up there? And Shane says, yep. Yeah, I saw it, and I don't care. Bye. So basically, let's go through this. Owens and Zayn look like the good guys because they legitimately got robbed, and they showed guts and tenacity during the match. AJ Styles looks like an idiot for not only getting himself into this predicament, but allowing it to go, essentially going with it. Daniel Bryan is trying to be turned heel, despite the fact the fans forbid it. And the guy who's supposed to be the good guy, who's supposed to be the impartial authority figure, comes across as a biased douche. In other words, decent match, went on too long, failure all around. Match number 2 in a 2 out of 3 falls bout for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable challenging the defending Usos. And I was wrong. We have at least one match that I didn't know was happening when the show started. Okay, so much wrong with this. Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable have all the personality, collectively, of a head of cabbage. They represent 2 or 3 major screw-ups by WWE, at least on the main roster. Chad Gable, coming from an excellent tag team that WWE didn't know how to use, and Shelton Benjamin, who should have been at least an upper-level mid-carder. As a singles act, they decided, nah, we're gonna basically rerun your tag team character from, 15 years ago now? No. This is terrible. And the Usos, I admit, I have not been keeping up with SmackDown horribly well, so when did the Usos become criminals? Or something? They're convicts now? From the Uso Penitentiary? They're like some kind of prison gang? Who are the good guys here? I asked that seriously because not long into this match, Shelton Benjamin, for no particular reason, decides to wrap the leg of one of the Usos around the steel ring post, which is a classic heel move. It's a bad guy move. So are Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable heels? Are the Usos the baby faces, despite being apparently a street gang or a prison gang? I don't get this. Before the match actually begins, the Usos cut a promo that confuses the living hell out of me because it accomplished nothing, and it was also quite wrong. one of the lines that they dropped was, how are you going to deal, and I'm paraphrasing here, how are you going to deal with two brothers who got nothing to lose? You are the defending champions, you idiots. You have something to lose. Your titles! Okay, so the promo accomplished nothing except to point out that the Usos are idiots. No formal ring introductions for this, because it's the tag team titles. We don't care. There's also a story going into this about how it looked like Gable and Benjamin had won a tag team title match a couple of weeks ago on television, but that match was reversed because they pinned the wrong Uso, and the decision was reversed on instant replay. Why on God's green earth mostly blue earth actually, why the hell are you introducing instant replay to professional wrestling? There's never been replay in wrestling. That's the whole point of the whole distract the ref finish. Every ref bump, every screwy finish that's caught on television, the only plausible way they get away with any of it is because there's no instant replay in wrestling and the referee's decision is final, even when it's wrong. Ugh. Okay, once again, the match starts fairly slowly, builds up to a great pace. By the end, Gable is an athletic machine. He is fast as a bullet for his size. He's incredible. A comment by the commentary team, which I'm still unfortunately listening to, mentions that the Raw Tag Team titles will also be defended later tonight, making me ask, should I institute a I get to skip one match rule on these videos, but I'm not going to. This match is a perfect example of a cornerstone of my personal philosophy when it comes to professional wrestling. Story over athleticism. This was technically, from what I can tell, a very good match. And again, uneducated fan here. Not an athlete, not a trained wrestler. I don't know what I'm talking about. But there was a lot of good action in this match. The problem is, I don't know who these characters are. Well, I know who they are, but I don't know what characters they're playing. I don't know who I'm supposed to be cheer. I'm not inclined to cheer for either of them. They both come across as heelish to me. And I really do believe this. You can have the best match, the best technical match in the world, but if I don't know who these characters are, if I don't know why they're fighting, if I'm not inclined to cheer one, boo the other, or preferably both, the match is going to suck. And that's what happened. This was a technically excellent, shitty match. Because I didn't know what the story was. They didn't tell a story. By the end of the match, the Usos win 2 falls to 0, which is a nice subversion of the 2 out of 3 falls gimmick, because almost inevitably with these, 1 fall to the villains, 1 fall to the good guys, and then whoever's supposed to win picks up the 3rd fall. They didn't do that this time. 2 straight falls to the Usos, so presumably Gable and Benjamin are out of the tag team title picture, and I still don't care. Match number 3. To my honest surprise, it is the Men's Royal Rumble match. We are halfway through the show, or we will be by the end of this. We get the By the Numbers video package explaining both the rules and a bunch of the stats and records related to the Royal Rumble. This is my favorite WWE video package of the year, and I just bumped my microphone, sorry about that. Criticize the WWE product all you want. I certainly am going to do a lot of that, but video packages, production, these guys are the best. Okay, I'm not going to be recapping the entire match. We are going to go through each entrant and what, if anything, significant happened during their roughly 90 seconds. I was not using a stopwatch. It felt like it was about 90 seconds. They may have fudged the time a little bit. There were times it seemed a bit fast, but I'm okay with that at the moment. Alright, since this match is going on here, I'm working under the assumption that the Women's Royal Rumble match will main event the show, which is pretty significant, but again, doesn't matter because that division doesn't matter, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, we do find out from the ring announcer that the winner of the match will challenge the champion of his choice. So you are not limited to your brand, Raw or SmackDown. Sorry, SmackDown Live, we gotta call it now, apparently. Alright, we do find out that Jerry the King Lawler will be joining commentary. Ugh. He's great. He's one of the best ever. But the commentary... The main commentary team doesn't have any chemistry with each other for the most part. So adding Lawler... not gonna help. In fact, him basically tearing into Byron Saxton, who the entire show has been the only one actually acting like an announcer, or like a play-by-play guy, or a color guy, because he's been championing what should be the voice of the people. He's been pointing out when the bad guys cheat, and pointing out that that's not okay. Alright, so we start off, number 1 is Rusev, being announced by Aiden English, and Rusev Day is effing over. I thought this was a stupid meme that would show up on Facebook. Happy Rusev. The gimmick is that Rusev is such a great person, such a great athlete, that he gets his own holiday. Presumably in Bulgaria, or maybe worldwide now, called Rusev Day. And the joke is that every day is Rusev Day. I was going for Statler and Waldorf, and I got the Count from Sesame Street. How did that happen? Okay, so Aiden English introduces Rusev. He comes out. Next, Finn Balor comes out, which is good. Let Finn do his full ring entrance. That takes some time. Make sure to do that as part of the show. So the match starts, and my eye is immediately drawn to the crowd, where I have finally found Waldo. Yeah, there was a guy dressed as Waldo, or Wally, from Where's Waldo, Where's Wally, and that was kind of distracting the entire match. Number 3, Rhino. There also appears to be a man who is a taco in the crowd. Rhino gets a few power spots on Rusev and Balor, and I really don't think... I love Rhino. All respect to the last ECW champion that anyone wants to admit, but I don't think he should be manhandling Rusev in 2018. Rusev is too good of a commodity, especially now that he's got this Rusev Day gimmick over. Number 4, Baron Corbin. And this was our first angle of the match, because he eliminates Rhino before being eliminated by Balor. However, Corbin then snaps, attacking Balor and Rusev, does not eliminate either of them as he pulls them out under the bottom rope. Number 5 is Heath Slater, who's attacked by Corbin on the ramp, and it would be another 10 minutes minimum before he actually got into the ring. Number 6, Elias, who decides to do his whole, I'm going to do the pompous folk music concert, the self-important folk music concert. He does the whole shtick because, well, the show wasn't long enough. He is, however, the only person in the ring at the moment, so it's sort of excusable, in the way Too Cool Dancing back in, I want to say 2000, was acceptable, sort of. Alright, next is number 7, our first surprise entrant, Andrade Cien Almas. The reigning NXT champion is in the Rumble. That's a pretty cool surprise. There were some good surprises in this Rumble match. We did get a nice New Japan reference from, I believe it was Corey Graves, using the Spanish word tranquilo. Ascendayo! Which is actually the catchphrase of Naito Tetsuya from Los Ingobernables de Japón. And I hope I'm pronouncing that all correctly. So I don't know if that was a deliberate thing or just a word of Spanish that he happened to know, but cool either way. Number 8, we've got Bray Wyatt. At this point, we now have 3 guys who are napping on the outside. Balor gets back in. Massive Rusev chants as Rusev starts to stir. Number 9, the New Day full pre-entrance. The, oh, city that we happen to be in. Don't you dare be sour, and all that stuff. And it's Big E, or Big E Langston, if you remember that. And there's a siren going on outside. Can you hear that? That's what a Japanese siren sounds like. Okay, I'm not a fan of the New Day. I think they're too much comedy when they should be one of the best trios of all time. I might do a full video on the New Day and what's wrong with them at some point in the future, but suffice to say, not a big fan. Number 10, they play the music for Ty Dillinger, who his gimmick is that he is a perfect 10. Not that anyone on the main roster knows that. Last year he debuted at number 10, so this was a bit of symmetry. Symmetry is good in storytelling. Cyclical storytelling, very nice. Very Star Wars. However, we then cut to backstage where Dillinger has been attacked by Zayn and Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn then just takes Dillinger's spot in the Rumble. Because assaulting somebody outside of the ring means you get their number. Why? Number 11, Sheamus shows up and decides to pick up the carcass of Heath Slater, throws him in the ring, and Slater eliminates Sheamus. Now, this does make sense as Sheamus, from what I understand, has been working hurt, and this might be a way to sort of conceal him a little bit going into the tag team title match, as all members of the Raw tag team title match would be in... Actually, no, Jason Jordan was never in the match. So 75% of the Raw tag team title match was in the Rumble. Honestly, no, don't do this. This is a terrible idea. But I do like that Slater got that holy crap moment right before being eliminated by Bray Wyatt. Number 12, New Day again, Xavier Woods. Number 13, Apollo Crews. A little comment on Apollo Crews. I've been watching Apollo Crews for a couple of years before he came to NXT as Uhaa Nation in Dragon Gate, where he was the monster among men. He was the giant. He was the big muscle body guy, babyface. And he was really good. This guy has a lot more charisma, a lot more talent than has been allowed to be shown on the main roster, which really surprises me, because this seems like somebody that Vince would like, if you get what I mean. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men. Sorry, somebody else's gimmick. Number 14, Shinsuke Nakamura. Or Nakamura Shinsuke, if you want to get it right. And the crowd is singing along. This is fantastic. Nakamura eliminates Sami Zayn to bring some justice back to the world. Number 15, someone I've been following since pretty much the beginning of his career, Cesaro, or as I know him, Claudio Castagnoli. He enters at number 15. Number 16, Kofi Kingston. Number 17, Jinder Mahal. Number 18, Seth Rollins dressed as Bam Bam Bigelow for some reason. We then have the traditional Kofi Kingston saves himself in a creative manner spot. The rule of the Rumble is that you have to go over the top rope, both feet have to hit the floor. But if for some reason your feet don't hit the floor, you're not eliminated. The rest of New Day get eliminated by Jinder Mahal, and when Kofi goes over, they catch him. One of Kofi's feet hits the ground, they catch the other one before it does, and then prop it up with a plate of pancakes. Ha 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 ha. They then do a fantastic springboard or pogo stick shot where they essentially set up the Antipult, for all intents and purposes. Kofi Kingston is boosted or slingshot up by the other two members of New Day, jumps all the way over Jinder Mahal to land on his feet. Really looked good. Alright, number 19, Woken Matt Hardy. Number 20, John Cena. This is where, honestly, I started to fall asleep because I'm recording this way too late at night when I have to go to work in the morning. Number 21, our nostalgia surprise for the evening. Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through! Okay, guilty pleasure time. When I was a kid, the Hurricane was my favorite wrestler. I love superheroes. I loved I love the campy Silver Age stuff. I the Adam West Batman series is the first television show I ever remember seeing. I'm not kidding about that. So the Hurricane was fantastic. Hurricane Helms himself is clearly showing his age, but he came out, he did the pose, proceeded to try to choke slam John Cena because he's got superhuman strength, which is cool. And then Cena picks him up and gives him the Alcoholics Anonymous over the top rope. Well, it's called the AA. What do you think it's supposed to stand for? So, the Hurricane in the match for less than a minute. That's an annoyance, but it was cool to see him. Again, one of my favorites. Hope he got a nice payday. Number 22, Aiden English comes out. Now, at some point, Rusev is eliminated. I didn't see it. So, I don't know if English and Rusev were in the match at the same time. 23, our second NXT surprise of the Rumble. Adam Cole Bay. Former member of Bullet Club, if I remember correctly. Big name in Ring of Honor, and he's been in NXT for a while as part of the Undisputed Era stable of wrestlers. Again, basically Team Ring of Honor. He comes out with his ribs taped up from the match at TakeOver last night. I have no idea if that was part of the story or if that was legitimate or both. But it gave him an excuse for basically not doing much in the match. Aiden English, I know I said I wasn't going to criticize bumps. Aiden English took a nasty-looking spill from the corner to the outside. He was on the second rope, posing for the crowd because he's stupid, and he gets knocked over and basically comes down hip first on the steel on the edge of the ring, which is the hardest part of the ring, and flops to the floor. I'm guessing he's okay, but he's going to have a bruise the size of a baseball tomorrow. Number 24, Randy Orton comes out to a huge pop, despite his character basically being stuck in neutral for the last half-decade. Number 25, Titus O'Neil. At this time, I've confirmed that Rusev has been eliminated, didn't see where or when. Number 26, The Miz. And he comes out with the Miztourage. They would play in to save him a little bit later. I think the new signature Miztourage spot is when they're both up on the apron, and Roman Reigns Superman punches one of them, and there's a domino effect, and they both fall down. It's a cute spot. Don't overdo it, or it'll turn into Dean Ambrose's rebound clothesline. Number 27. Freaking Rey Mysterio Jr. I hear that Booyaka Booyaka 619, and the first thing in my head, how the hell did he get out of prison? For the last couple of years, Rey Mysterio has been in Lucha Underground, where he has been the veteran big-name star. Last time we saw Rey Mysterio in Lucha Underground, he was being held captive in a dungeon underneath the temple, the arena of Lucha Underground, next to the monster Matanza. And the guy with the key to the cell, presuming it's the same key, had just been shot. So how the hell he got out of there, I have no idea. Of course, WWE is not going to acknowledge this. But inquiring minds want to know. Somebody start fantasy booking. In all seriousness, though, I hope this is a one-off. I don't know if it is, because as much as Rey deserves to have another run in WWE, Lucha Underground is just such better wrestling than WWE. I want Rey to stick around, especially with that big cliffhanger of him being stuck in the cell. I don't want the story to be that Matanza ate him between seasons. We do get a 619 to The Miz. Number 28, Roman Reigns. I will talk about Roman Reigns someday. Today is not that day. All I'm going to say is thunderous boos. This man got his ass booed out of the building again. The Roman Reigns project of him being the next John Cena, the next top babyface good guy star, number one guy, is not working. It has failed. He is the biggest heel in your freaking company. Why don't you realize this? The good news, though, he's not number 30. Last year he came out at number... Actually, last 2 years I think the last 2 years straight, he came out at number 30, and basically the fans damn near rioted. They were demanding refunds. So he's not number 30, he's 28, that's good. And then there's something that just crystallizes everything that's wrong with Roman Reigns. He eliminates Seth Rollins. Just first opportunity, clotheslines his own partner over the top rope, his friend, his brother in the Shield, clotheslines him over the top rope down to the floor, and just smirks. Friendship is for suckers. I'm the good guy. The scary thing is, I don't think Vince McMahon actually knows what a babyface is. Alright, number 29, Goldust. And he's on the active roster, so this isn't really a nostalgia act. But Goldie looks fantastic. At his age, he is able to do more than he should be able to. He's great. Good to see him. Good placement. He's not in the match for particularly long, but it was nice to see him get that sort of gold watch slot in the Rumble. Number 30, Dolph Ziggler. No, Kenny Omega is not showing up at the Rumble, nor is Chris Jericho. That's just not happening. We knew that wasn't going to happen, but I'm sure people are going to complain about it. Dolph Ziggler has been doing a story where he basically walked out of WWE because wah, you don't appreciate me. Again, is he supposed to be a good guy at this point? I have no idea. Well, he comes back, and it doesn't appear the crowd was completely shitting on this. However, as soon as his music hit, the crowd went suspiciously quiet, which leads me to believe, get my phrasing right, that they were booing this pretty loudly. And WWE, Kevin Dunn, just decided, cut the crowd mic, forget it. But you could see in the body language of the crowd that they were thumbs downing, they were booing this, they were not happy with Dolph. Dolph did not last particularly long either, so kind of a waste of the number 30 slot. We get down to the final 6, which is John Cena, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor, who came in at number 2, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Roman Reigns. And this splits off into 3-on-3, which they're billing as veterans versus new guys. Cena, Orton, and Mysterio versus Balor, Nakamura, and Reigns, which means we've got essentially a complete split on who the good guys and the bad guys are here. And, oh yeah, let's not forget that Nakamura and Balor have been wrestling for damn near 20 years apiece. I'm pretty sure Nakamura's been wrestling longer than Cena. I'm not sure. Rey Mysterio has legitimately been wrestling since the Triassic period at this point. So, credit there. Rey Mysterio looked fantastic in this match, by the way. He best shape I've ever seen him. Or best shape I've seen him in a long time, at least. I think his time in the Temple did him a world of good. And if he's making good money, good for him. Again, I hope it was a one-off and he'll be back for Lucha Underground Season 4. The battle of the generation gap that isn't good guys versus bad guys, it's garbage. Doesn't last for very long. Fortunately. We eventually get down to 4. Mysterio is eliminated. I believe it was by Roman. I think it was by Cena eliminates. Yeah, I don't remember. I think Cena eliminates Mysterio. I know Reigns eliminates Orton. Just grabs him by the back of the head, throws him over the top. So we get down to the final 4, and they do sort of the 2 guys fight, 2 guys rest, other 2 guys, and they switch. we get to the point of Cena and Reigns are fighting each other one-on-one, and the crowd is making their displeasure known with chants of, "You both suck. You both suck." This is Philadelphia. This is ECW territory. Okay, they're gonna boo these guys. John Cena then rather loudly mouths and makes hand gestures that these people are all talk, what they say doesn't matter. So much for the respect part of hustle, loyalty, and respect. This is what I hate about Cena. He's a hypocrite. And I'm just saying, nothing against the man personally. I do not know John Cena the man. I'm referring only to John Cena the character and how badly written he is. John Cena's ethical code: hustle, loyalty, respect. He shows none of these virtues. And frankly, with the possible exception of hustle, never has. That's why he gets booed. Reigns gets booed because he's fake. He's corporate. He's a smug, and he comes across as a smug douchebag. WWE has, they have to know. They have to know what's going on here. They cannot possibly be this thick. Okay, eventually, Cena eliminates Balor to a chorus of boos. So we're down to our final three, which is Cena, Nakamura, and Reigns. At this point, all the chanting is either pro-Nakamura or anti-everybody else. The fans hate Cena, and they really hate Reigns. So Nakamura pretty much has to win this, and then to my shock, Nakamura eliminates Cena, the crowd goes wild. Everybody, myself included, was thinking, okay, Reigns is going to win this, and then he's going to fight probably Brock Lesnar for the belt at WrestleMania, and it's going to be this big crowning moment, and the crowd is going to dump all over it. Well, I'm wrong. Nakamura eliminates Cena, crowd goes wild, final two, Reigns and Nakamura. Nakamura eliminates Roman effing Reigns. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match, Shinsuke Nakamura! Immediately, we have an in-ring interview. I think it was Renee who was doing this. Renee Young. Great interviewer. Best they've got right now. Holds the mic. Says, you get to challenge either champion. Have you made a decision? WWE title or Universal title? And Nakamura, whose English is a hell of a lot better. I've been teaching English in Japan for over 10 years now. I know how Japanese people learn the English language. I know what good English is by Japanese standards. Shinsuke Nakamura has brilliant English. But they kept it short and sweet, asked him, have you made a decision? And he just says what everybody wants, AJ Styles. Which is great, because one, you're not giving away the finish to the Universal title match, and two, that's the match we want. That just sold network subs for that match. And with that, the Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble, comes to a close. And I just realized we're basically only halfway through this damn show. WWE, your fans do not have the patience for this. I'm halfway through your show and I want to go take a nap. I'm not even in my mid-30s yet. I should not be this much of a senior citizen when it comes to your show. We get a behind-the-scenes segment with the four authority figures from Raw and SmackDown in the same office, standing awkwardly because they're not supposed to know the camera's there, and they don't know how to shoot these things. And it's basically a little bit of a dick measuring contest between Raw and SmackDown, with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon being happy that Shinsuke Nakamura, a SmackDown competitor, has won the Rumble match, and Stephanie McMahon and Kurt Angle of Monday Night Raw grudgingly saying, yeah, that's cool, that's great, but Raw is going to have the better title match, and a Raw woman is going to win the women's title match. This really didn't accomplish much, but it did do a little more to try and so a rivalry between the two shows. Wrestlers from the two shows only fight each other at Survivor Series, and the last couple of years they've done this, it's come across as the rivalry comes out of nowhere. The problem is, right now, the way they're doing it, it's not SmackDown versus Raw rivalry, it's Shane versus Stephanie, with Brian and Kurt being dragged along for the ride rivalry. So, it was a good reset for the rest of the show. Not so much anything else. We then get a commercial with various WWE superstars dressing up as Colonel Sanders. No, I'm not making that up. Match number 4 is for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Defending champions Jason Angle. Jason Jordan, why have they not changed his name to Jason Angle? And Seth Bam Bam Rollins versus The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. Fun little bit of bilingual bonus during the entrance for the champions, who came out first because, to hell with tradition, they went down the list of the international announce teams who did a couple second spiel. We get to the Japanese announce team, and I love being able to actually understand what they're saying. Basically, they were going about how Team Japan is dominating so far, meaning Shinsuke Nakamura winning the Rumble, and basically they said, Team Japan, ganbarimasu. Ganbarimasu, roughly in this case, translating as Team Japan, do your best, go for it. Pure, we're supporting the Japanese guys. Everybody else, you're just a bunch of gaijin for all we care. And before we finish off the rest of this interminably long show, we're going to take a quick moment for a word from our sponsor.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Friends, are you looking for that new monthly subscription service that is going to be the hottest thing in the world starting right now? Well, I have got the inside scoop for you, ladies and gentlemen, sponsoring this episode, Crate. That's right, the only subscription box service that every single month will send you a box full of other boxes. They've got square boxes, they've got rectangular boxes, they've got oblong boxes, they've got big boxes, they've got small boxes, they've got round boxes, and I don't know how they do that last one, but best of all, Crate is offering you, listeners to the Last Wrestling Podcast, a very special deal. If you go to www.thisisnotarealproduct.com/LWP, that's LWP for Last Wrestling Podcast, you can get $5 off your first Crate box. It's an amazing deal. After that, Crates are only $299 per month. It is a steal at half the price. And we're back for the rest of the show, and wow, several minutes and you don't know how many shots of tequila later, the match is over and we have new Raw Tag Team Champions, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. Here's the problem, this match absolutely sucked. The crowd was silent as the grave for this match. You could hear a pin drop. And when you're more than 10,000 people in an arena, that's not a good thing. It's okay if they hate you. It's not a good thing if they don't care about you at all, and nobody cared here. Okay, I am going to give WWE a modicum of credit here. They were dealing with some serious injury problems. First of all, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins' normal tag team partner, out for a number of months with an injury. Sheamus recovering, I should say, from a neck injury, I understand, and Jason Jordan with an undisclosed injury, which explains why he was taken out of the match, about 7 seconds in. And he wound up selling with the doctors at ringside for almost the entire bout, putting us in yet another handicap situation, because that works so well tonight already. And credit to Seth Rollins, he tried his best. Cesaro, brilliant talent, tried his best to make somebody care about this, and it just wasn't going to work. This match is the match of the wasted potential. Rollins should be one of the top baby faces on one of the brands. Should be top 2 or 3 babyface. Cesaro should be the top babyface on one of the brands, probably SmackDown. But nope, they were wasted in this tag match. I don't care. This video, this podcast, whatever I'm calling it, is too long already. Next! Match 5 for the Universal Championship. It's Brock Lesnar defending against Kane and Braun Strowman in a triple threat match that should not be happening. Okay. Brock Lesnar, for better or for worse, has re-established the idea that the champion doesn't have to defend the title on every pay-per-view. Therefore, this match does not need to be happening, which means anytime you have Brock Lesnar defending the title, it needs to be the best title match you can put on at the time. Problem. Traditionally, WWE realizes that the Rumble match itself will sell the pay-per-view. So, they put an experimental match, or they give a title match to somebody who, would normally not get an opportunity. Jerry Lawler challenging for the title only a few years ago, for example. Now, here's the thing. You want to save Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. That is a money-making match down the line. Either after WrestleMania, SummerSlam, next year's WrestleMania, something like that. You do not want to give that away on a show where the title match is not the main event. So, instead of just not doing the match and saving the money on a Brock Lesnar appearance, no, they decide we'll give away the match, but we'll throw in Kane. Kane. God, what happened to you? When I first started watching WWF, Kane drew my attention to the product. The big red machine, the monster, the unstoppable, uncontrollable, unpredictable behemoth. He was the first wrestler I ever really liked. And with all due respect to the man, please retire. You've made your money. Hopefully you've saved it. I know you love what you do, or you wouldn't still be doing it, but no, it's over. So, yeah, we got a triple threat match on a show that's already 4 flippin' hours that doesn't need to be happening, and nobody would care if Lesnar wasn't defending the title, because he never does. You can even bill that he will appear to face the winner of the men's Royal Rumble, except for the fact they went in the other direction with that. But, meh. Alright, let's see if the match is any good. Okay, well, that was interesting. In truth, there wasn't much to this match. It was basically 3 big slabs of muscle beating on each other for a few minutes, Braun Strowman not quite understanding how to slide a table into the ring, and eventually Kane taking the pin because, of course, Kane took the pin. That was the obvious only reason he was in the match, because they didn't want to give away Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar one-on-one, and they decided not to do the easy, smart thing, which would have been not have the match and make the show shorter. Good work from Paul Heyman, getting the Philadelphia crowd to actually wake up for this match. And of course, Philadelphia. I've always wanted somebody in Philadelphia to do a promo where they're talking to Paul Heyman and say, oh, by the way, since we're in Philadelphia, make some noise if Paul Heyman owes you money. Yeah, okay, everybody, I figured that. Mediocre match. I guess they felt they needed some kind of an extreme match in the show because Philadelphia, ECW, I guess. Completely unnecessary. Yes, a triple threat match apparently presupposes no disqualification, but I don't know why. One good thing I will say about this match, before the match, the best thing about the match happened before the match started, was another excellent video package, essentially juxtaposing Lesnar, Strowman, and Kane, and a bunch of big sort of stunt spots that they've done over the years. Not all of it was recent. There was a clear shot of Kane rolling Zack Ryder's career off of a stage, if anybody remembers that. But, so, brilliant video package, as always. Just the match was kinda dull. I hate to say it, but that's what it was. Fortunately, we have the main event, the Women's Royal Rumble, coming up. Oh dear God. Here we go again. Okay, earlier I mentioned that as great as a milestone as this match is going to be, they kind of killed the entire division to do it. The way they announced this match, it was on an episode of Raw. There was a women's, I believe, 8-man, or 8-woman, I should say, 8-superstar, 8-wrestler tag team, 8 Atomicos match. It was a bloody Atomicos match. Let's just call it what it is. Anyway, mid-match, during one of the inevitable, by God, it's all broken down, the referee has lost total control of the situation moments, Stephanie McMahon's music hits, and everything stops. She comes out, makes the announcement that for the first time ever, we're gonna have an all-women's Royal Rumble match, and yes, she talks like this. Well, at that moment, every woman in the ring completely forgot that they were supposed to be fighting each other, and completely forgot that some of them are supposed to be heels, some of them are supposed to be baby faces, and some of them are supposed to be badasses who should not be literally lining up like good little children in the schoolyard, and basically killed the entire division, at least on Raw. Now, I can understand somebody like Bayley, and that's going to be another podcast later, is how the fuck did they manage to fuck this up? But the rest of these characters, Sasha Banks should not be doing this. Nia Jax should not be doing this. But no, they're all happy and doing little appropriated yes chants, and it was absolutely terrible. So, yeah, there's absolutely no character cohesion in the women's division anymore. But we do get this Royal Rumble match. I'm going to look at the match on its own, try to look at it in a vacuum, and who knows, maybe it's going to be good. Let's find out. Oh, those freaking idiots. Wow. I could go through the entire Women's Royal Rumble match, but it doesn't matter. Nothing in that match actually mattered. Because in the end, Ronda Rousey shows up. Okay, Asuka wins the Royal Rumble. Good decision. And they have Charlotte and Bliss with their title belts in the ring, Asuka standing between them, and doing the which one will she choose thing. We don't actually get an answer to that because a song plays. I should know the name of the song. I want to say Teen Spirit or something like that. But music plays. They don't show who it is. The crowd's going nuts. They don't show the Titantron. They don't show anyone coming out for a few seconds. And it's Ronda freaking Rousey. Now, they put out a rumor on social media that she was actually not going to be in town. She was going to be in, I think, Colombia filming a movie. Well, apparently she caught a flight to Philadelphia, or that was a work to begin with. Ronda Rousey walks out, owns the ring, sort of. We'll get to this in a minute. Points at the WrestleMania sign, basically saying, I want to go to WrestleMania, screw the Royal Rumble, I'm going to WrestleMania and getting a title shot because I feel like it. Earning title matches? What's that all about? Alexa Bliss was not a factor in this. She could have been replaced by a cardboard cutout. Asuka showed personality. Ronda Rousey goes to extend a hand to the winner of the Royal Rumble. Asuka looks at her, smiles, slaps her hand away. Rousey sort of smiles, nods her head. Okay, that's cool. That's how we're going to play this. Points to the WrestleMania sign again. She did that like 5 times. And her arm goes straight across the face of a rather perturbed-looking Charlotte Flair. So it looks like, though they've confirmed exactly nothing, it looks like it's going to be Asuka Bliss and Rousey Charlotte at WrestleMania, and that's pretty good. Alright, for the sake of completion, we're going to go through some of the details of the Royal Rumble, because it was actually very, very good, all things considered, and this match had a lot working against it, most of which was the commentary. Seriously, there were no heels in this match. Basically, all Michael Cole did was read off stats about, essentially, these women's childhood slideshow pictures. Stephanie was... Stephanie was Stephanie, let's leave it at that. Okay, so we have a guest ring announcer whose name I've never quite gotten right. It's Maria Menounos, I believe it's pronounced. Well, she's the guest ring announcer. She doesn't do the most difficult part of the ring announcing, which is explaining the rules of the Rumble match. I guess they didn't trust her for that. There is a hilarious line, the line of the night, in my opinion. Michael Cole, as Stephanie McMahon is walking to ringside, Michael Cole lets out with one of the forebearers of the Women's Revolution, one of the women responsible for the Women's Revolution, and here's the line of the night, "She won't tell you so." Yes, she fucking will! It's all she ever does! I honestly, legitimately laughed out loud for about 2 minutes. I only stopped laughing once they actually got around to announcing the first women to come out. Actually, before the women come out, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss do come out, and they're sitting ringside for the entire match. Not a problem. I kind of wish the men did that too, because that's a really cool visual of having the champions observing the challenger, although they probably wouldn't do it with the men, but they should have, because they probably shouldn't have had world title matches tonight. Okay, going through this very, very, very quickly. Number 1, Sasha Banks lasts almost the entire match. Menounos is already grating on my ears. Becky Lynch, these two are a good choice to start this. Although it's interesting that the commentary team never announces that these women got the worst possible draw. They're being positive, and it's not working. Number 3, Sarah Logan from the Riot Squad. And my notes here, is she the MMA one? Seriously, the Riot Squad don't really have much of a personality outside of Ruby herself. We'll get to her. Mandy Rose from Absolution. My notes read, I have no idea who this woman is. Apparently she's a Tough Enough alumnus, but, yeah, don't care. That's actually not a mark in her favor. Lita shows up at number 5, and the crowd wakes up. Lita, rather interestingly, on her belt, had the #TimesUp hashtag. She had the Time's Up hashtag on her belt, and while I'm in full support of the Me Too movement, because I'm not a terrible person, I kind of want to know how she got that by Vince. Either A, he doesn't know what it means, or she's got enough clout she just doesn't care. Because Vince McMahon, who likes big sweaty men, and just announced that he's going to force his football players to stand for the anthem whether they want to or not, because that's not a political statement somehow. I don't imagine him allowing a Me Too hashtag or a Time's Up hashtag on his show, if he knew what it was. Okay, this started the theme of the night, because we had a lot of guest stars. They did a lot of returning star spot entrance in this Women's Rumble, and it worked great, except for the fact it drew a fairly clear line of demarcation between the current stars and the past stars, because the current stars came out to crickets for the most part, and the past stars came out to thunderous ovations. So I've got repeated in my notes over and over again, remember when wrestling used to be cool? Alright, number 6, Kairi Sane. That's not how her name is pronounced. Okay, Kairi Sane is better known as Kairi Hojo from Stardom, debuted and I think she actually won the Mae Young Classic several months ago. This is her first time appearing on the main roster, to my knowledge. And here's the thing. The way her given name is spelled, her new given name, Sane, S-A-N-E, in Japanese, it should be pronounced Kairi Sane, because Japanese does not have a silent E. The silent E, of course, elongating the previous vowel. So it should be pronounced Sane. And that's how I'm going to refer to her, because she's Japanese, and that's how that name is pronounced in Japanese. Kairi Sane. So she shows up and does a pretty good job. She gets in her signature spots. She gets in the macho, the Kairi Sane, I think it is now, elbow drop, which is a thing of beauty. Number 7, Tamina the White returns at the turn of the tide. Lita at this point busts out the moonsault to a "You Still Got It" chant. Well done. Tamina, I feel sorry for her. Just gets eliminated by Lita, who then gets eliminated by Becky Lynch. Number 8, Dana Brooke, who last I checked was a low-card manager, and she's the one eliminating Kairi Sane. Okay, somebody wrote this. Number 9, Tori Wilson, announced as part of the Attitude Era. No, she effing wasn't. The Attitude Era, in my opinion, kind of ended when the invasion happened, and she didn't show up until the invasion. So she was not Attitude Era. But she is an homage to the Divas Era, which we have to have for some reason. However, she does get a Tori Wilson chant, because wrestling used to be cool. Number 10, Sonya Deville. This is the MMA one. The other one was apparently the Hillbilly. I did not know that. Tori Wilson eliminated at some point here. Number 11, Liv Morgan, or as I've got in my notes, Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, is part of the Riot Squad, apparently. She shows up. Number 12, Molly Holly, because wrestling used to be cool. And after seeing the Hurricane in the Men's Rumble, I kind of wanted to see Mighty Molly. Maybe have her, pull the mask out at some point, or have the Hurricane show up or something. But cool to see her again. Gets in her signature spots, gets in the Molly go-round, looks fantastic. A little worried that the guests are getting too many eliminations here. But other than that, pretty good. Stephanie is a liar. One of the most respected women on the roster. Her gimmick was that she was fat and had a big butt. You gave her that gimmick. Don't talk about respecting these women when you give them this crap. Alright, number 13, Lana gets a massive Rusev Day chant. Stephanie tries to squash it. Michelle McCool comes out at number 14. Wrestling used to sort of be cool. And she eliminates Molly Holly. Also, Lana is an idiot. Screaming that it's Lana Day and just screaming in the face of Michelle McCool before she gets eliminated. It was not good. Number 15, Ruby freaking Riott. Heidi Lovelace. I have watched this young woman's career coming up through Chikara. I'm a huge Chikara fan. And the Young Lioness, the first ever woman to win the Young Lions Cup in Chikara, now in the Women's Royal Rumble, and had a good showing for herself. I thought I heard something that might have been a Heidi Lovelace chant. I couldn't quite make it out, but it worked. Number 16, Vicky Guerrero. I admit, this one caught me flat-footed. She comes out screaming her "excuse me" catchphrase about 70 times, which was about 65 too many. Tries to yell at the women until the women all realize, oh, wait a minute, she's not the boss anymore. Gang up on her and eliminate her. Pure comedy spot. Number 17, Carmella, which makes me wonder why Miss Money in the... Alright, here's what went through my head when Carmella was announced. 1, why is Miss Money in the Bank in the Rumble? She already has a title shot. 2, the champions are sitting out there. Could she challenge the champions right now? If she wins the Royal Rumble, can she... because they said at the front that the woman who wins the Rumble can choose her opponent. She's got a Money in the Bank case for the SmackDown title. She could challenge the Raw title by winning the Rumble. She could technically challenge both in a title unification match if she chose. But that's not going to be a factor, as you will see. She gets bonked on the back of the head with the briefcase by an upset Vicky Guerrero on the way out, and she's going to be just out for a while. Number 18, Natalya shows up, And I love the cat ears. 19, Kelly Kelly, the stripper child. Seriously, the underage stripper, because ECW used to suck. Number 20, Naomi shows up minus her entrance, minus the black light, which is frankly her entire character, which makes me rather surprised she wasn't number 1 or 2 to get the full entrance, which I kind of expected going into this. Number 21, Jacqueline shows up because wrestling used to be cool. 22, Nia Jax eliminates 2 of the guest stars, military press to the corner, and followed by an elimination of Ruby Riott. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Naomi gets knocked from the apron, jumps across to the crowd barricade, tightrope walks around the barricade, which admittedly is a fairly decent-sized balancing beam these days, jumps onto a chair, thankfully kicking Maria Menounos out of the chair while she was trying to take a selfie. I don't want to know. She then puts her feet on the chair, uses her arms to pedal herself across to the steps, jumps onto the steps, and climbs back in the ring because she's the female Kofi Kingston now. Please let that not be a race thing, Vince. And then she immediately gets eliminated by Nia Jax because nothing matters. Alright, fortunately, number 23, things pick up. Ember Moon, the reigning NXT Women's Champion, debuts, selling her arm from the match the previous night with Shayna Baszler, actually selling something. I love this. Both the NXT, everyone from NXT was doing that today, was selling their injuries. Love it. And then we get Ember Moon and Asuka in the ring. It's a thing of beauty watching these two go at it, and this is the first time modern stars, modern wrestlers have woken up the crowd, because Ember Moon comes out, the crowd wakes up, Ember Moon and Asuka facing off in the ring, the crowd goes nuts. I cannot wait to see how WWE's main roster fucks this up. Number 26, Mickie James, and I preemptively wrote Shut Up Stephanie, because you don't get to claim respect or anything for Mickie James especially. Number 27, Nikki Bella comes out, and apparently she's been in both the Bella Twins have been in WWE for a decade, 2008. I didn't realize it, but I think that's about right. Nikki Bella gets the John Cena sucks sing-along chant. Brie Bella comes out number 28. She gets the yes chant, meaning that these women have no independent characters. The entire reaction to them is based entirely upon whom they are married to, or in Nikki's case, engaged. By the way, if they decide to get married in the ring at WrestleMania, no. I'm gonna find the writer and put a brick through their window. Number 29, out comes Bayley to sounds of crushing indifference. Bayley should be the number 1 babyface, not just in the women's division, but all of WWE. She should have been the next John Cena. She's everybody's little sister that you want to see succeed. You have to work hard to fuck this up. But they did. Number 30, and number 30, always a danger, always a risk it's going to be a disappointment. It wasn't. Trish Stratus. They'd already announced that Roman Rousey wasn't going to be... Roman Rousey. Oh, that's a Freudian slip. Imagine if Roman Reigns had come out and joined the Women's Rumble at number 30. That would have been funny. They'd already announced Ronda Rousey was not going to be there. So this was really the best they could have done. Of course, that announcement was a lie. We get down to the end of this. Sasha eliminates Bayley. Sasha has been Bayley's best friend for a while. I wonder if that's finally the blow-off for that. I don't care. Suddenly, betrayal matters, apparently. Didn't matter when Roman Reigns eliminated Seth Rollins. Trish Stratus eliminates Natalya. And then Sasha remembers that she has a personality. She actually confronts Trish Stratus in a really cool spot, saying, yeah, I'm the boss. This is my ring. I am the boss. Trish tries to hit Stratusfaction and gets thrown over the top rope, Really cool spot for Sasha Banks. Asuka, I love Asuka. I love everything Asuka does. I love her characterization. I love her body language. I love her promos, even when she doesn't say that much. She is great. The Bellas betray and eliminate the boss, so we're down to our final 3, which are the Bella Twins and Asuka, at which point I wrote in my notes, please let Asuka win. They're not going to give this to a Bella Twin, and they don't. Nikki Bella betrays Brie Bella, getting a John Cena sucks reaction, and Asuka eventually wins with the streak intact in a kind of a cool spot where they're both on the apron and Asuka kind of kicks the remaining Bella Twin off. At this point, there's about 5 minutes in the show, closing angle, end of program. Final wrap-up. This should have been a 2-match show. It's bold, but they could have done a 2-hour show, or 2.5-hour show, with just these 2 Royal Rumble matches. Neither of the title matches were well written or particularly good. The tag team title matches were a waste of everybody's time. And they could have just done the 2 Rumbles, and that would have been fine. People would have been satisfied. Maybe do a match in between as a cool-down popcorn thing, but other than that, they should have just gone with it. Overall, I'm gonna do letter grades. I don't want to do star ratings. I'm gonna do letter grades because in my real life, I'm a teacher. I'm giving this pay-per-view a C. Halfway between excellence and failure, because the Royal Rumble matches both delivered. The closing angle was a little bit of a spit in the face to the Rumble itself, because if Ronda Rousey can just walk out and give herself a title match, well, what's the point of the Rumble? Why work for something when you can just walk out and claim it? But the rest of the show, complete waste of time, complete waste of talent. And that's what we've got. I'm sorry this is so long. I'm going to try to edit it down, but I'm recapping a 4-hour show, so what do you want? Thank you very much, and we will see you next time. This has been the Last Wrestling Podcast. Witty catchphrase sign-off. I got nothing.